In this episode, we will talk about sleep and its opposite, wakefulness. These two phases of our lives, sleep and wakefulness, control everything related to our mental and physical health. In this section, we will not only discuss the benefits of sleep, but also explore how to sleep better, how to fall asleep more effectively, when is the optimal time to fall asleep, and ways to improve sleep quality. When we delve into the topic of sleep, we are essentially exploring how to be more focused and alert during the waking phase, and that's what we'll be focusing on. Since sleep and wakefulness are interdependent phases, it is crucial to address both aspects and not exclude one from the conversation. Sleep is a mysterious phase of our lives during which we are not conscious. We dream during sleep, and we may even wake up briefly. However, during sleep, we are not only connected to what is happening in our body and brain, but in most cases, external perceptions and experiences cannot affect us. Sleep is a crucial phase that allows us to focus, stay alert, and recalibrate our emotional balance. For that reason, when we talk about sleep, it's not just about the act itself. It involves considerations of focus, alertness, motivation, mood, and overall well-being. At the same time, what we do when we are awake, how quickly we fall asleep, the timing of falling asleep, the duration of our sleep, and how rested we are upon waking up, are all integral aspects of this complicated balance. In this section, we will talk more about how to get better at sleeping. Most people realize how important it is to get a good night's sleep on a regular basis, but again, most people don't know how to achieve this. In fact, they probably are disadvantaged of a regular, restful, and quality sleep of 6 to 9 hours. Probably most of you go through each day without waking up fully rested after sleep to energetically attack the things you have to do during the day in a way that allows you to stay focused and avoid energy downs during the day. You're likely poor of sleep. The first sleep-determining force, adenosine. The forces that affect sleep can be split into two categories. The first is chemical forces, and the second is luminous forces. The chemical force is called adenosine. Adenosine is a molecule that accumulates in our nervous system and body during the time we are awake. So after 8 or 9 hours of deep sleep, the adenosine in your brain and body level will be very low. On the opposite, after being awake for 10 to 15 hours, the amount of adenosine in your brain and body will be very high. The high levels of adenosine cause you to be sleep hunger. It's appropriate to use the word hunger here because a lot of what we're going to talk about in this chapter can be explained in terms of food. Just as the health of your body depends not only on the food you eat, but also on many factors, such as the frequency and quantity of your diet, the foods that are right for you. So too, sleep and wakefulness depend on an average of many behaviors. How long we stay awake is one of the key behaviors because of adenosine. The reason why you feel sleepy after being awake for a certain amount of time is that the amount of adenosine has increased little by little since your last sleep. Caffeine. Caffeine is a molecule that wakes up the huge majority of people and makes them more alert. But everyone has a different tolerance to caffeine. Some people can feel quite nervous with very small amounts of caffeine, but some people don't feel nervous even if they consume large amounts of caffeine. Caffeine is a molecule that acts against adenosine. When you consume caffeine in the form of coffee or tea or whatever, the caffeine molecules go and stick to the adenosine receptors and prevent you from feeling sleepy as a result of the buildup of adenosine. So the caffeine molecules keep you awake because they stick to the sleep receptors and block them. For that reason, when caffeine is eliminated from the body, the pending adenosine buildup sticks to the receptors with even greater force, and you can suddenly feel very sleepy and very tired. Everyone has a different tolerance to caffeine. Some people can take caffeine until 4 p.m. and still fall asleep early in the evening. Some people may not be able to sleep at night if they take caffeine after 11 a.m. And some people may not be able to sleep at night after taking some caffeine during the day, no matter how early they cut it out. But as a general rule, don't take caffeine less than 10 hours before bedtime. So if you are someone who falls asleep at 11 p.m., don't take caffeine after 1 p.m. But as we said above, you may not have any caffeine tolerance at all, and for sleep quality, you may need to stop taking caffeine entirely or take it at 11 p.m. You can stop taking caffeine all, but caffeine doesn't just keep you awake by blocking adenosine receptors. Another mechanism of action is the dopamine pathway. By increasing the amount of dopamine, caffeine can make you more energized and happy. The second force that controls sleep: light. If you have ever stayed up all night, you may have noticed that you feel more energized and awake at first light, while you are much sleepier at night. Even though adenosine has accumulated overnight, there is a second force at work here that determines when you sleep and when you wake up: the circadian cycle. Circadian means 24-hour. We all have a clock in our brains. This clock manages when we are sleepy and when we are awake. Thanks to this clock, we don't fall asleep every half an hour throughout the day, and our sleep comes and goes at a certain time of the day, usually 6-10 hours. The bad effects of light on sleep. Let's talk about the bad effects of light on sleep. Our bodies evolved in an atmosphere where light did not enter our systems at all hours of the day. But nowadays, we are exposed to light almost every moment of the day because of screens and synthetic light. Exposure to lots of sunlight at the beginning and end of the day helps to set your internal clock optimally. But as you stay awake, the nerve cells in your retina that are related to the circadian cycle become more sensitive to light. If you've been awake for 10, 12, or 14 hours, even a very small amount of light from a screen or a desk lamp will activate your internal clock and make you want to stay awake longer. So during the day, get as much light as you can within safe limits. And if your eyes are not sensitive, it's better to remove the blue light filters. But after 8 p.m. and certainly between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., avoid exposure to bright light. According to a study by David Burson and Samer Hatter, published in the magazine Cell, light in the eyes between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. blocks the chemical dopamine, the body's internal antidepressant that makes you feel good, limits your capacity to learn, and has many other negative effects. And finally, afternoon nap, yoga nidra, and meditation. Let me touch on the topic of nap here. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or even an hour nap during the day is very beneficial for many people. You don't need a nap, but a lot of people naturally experience a drop in energy in the afternoon and then their energy rises again. But some people can wake up really exhausted from their midday nap. This is probably because they don't sleep as well and as long as they should at night, and they fall a deep sleep during their midday nap. But many people also feel great after a midday nap. Yoga Nidra is a form of meditation, but standard seated meditation is also helpful for sleep patterns. A lot of people have trouble falling asleep because they have difficulties in calming themselves down, and you just need 10-30 minutes a day for that. With meditation and Yoga Nidra, you learn to relax, and you don't just relax while you're doing it. You relax in a more general sense, and you learn to relax. I want to touch on something important here. You can force yourself to stay awake, right? It's easy for some people, it's hard for some people, but you can force yourself to stay awake. But we can also force ourselves to sleep. I'm going to repeat something I've said here many times, and I'm not going to get tired of saying it. It is very difficult to control the mind with the mind. If you have trouble sleeping, you need to look at the mechanisms of your body. Meditation and Yoga Nidra, breathing, certain sitting and lying positions, body control, things like that, which give you control over the body and give you mental relaxation. Your mind and body are connected. Whenever you find it difficult to control your mind, then look at your body. Look at the light. Get sunlight during the day. At night, stay away from bright light. Control your breathing and lying position. Control your breathing and lying position.